I tell you, I really miss a traditional, family-friendly, God-fearing America, don't you? You know, if you miss a good family-friendly, all-family, traditional values America, let out a holler, clap your hands, honk your horn, flash your lights, let somebody know you know that you miss America. Don't you just miss America? My God. Well, America is being destroyed from within. We have corruptocrats in the bureaucracies of government everywhere. I call them corruptocrats because honestly and truly, most of them do little and nothing for a living. Push papers around to nowhere. I'll give you an example of this. I'm on the do not call list for my home phone and cell phone. I consistently get these calls from, card holder services, or whatever the hell they are. I have filed 17 formal complaints with the FTC, and I've never had a follow-up on any of them. They don't care. These are bureaucrats who sit around and play, chase the porn star on their computers at work and get paid $150,000 a year in wages and benefits, and they don't do their damn jobs. And I can't even legally tell you how it makes me feel, what goes through my mind when I think about some twisted little, minority sitting there in Washington, D.C. at the desk, chasing porn dreams out there on the web at my expense, while I'm sitting around waiting for the service I paid for that I'm never going to get. And I've tried to communicate to the candidates, we need to automate government, get rid of all these losers. The vast majority of these government jobs can be done with automation, with computer programs. People can go to a terminal if they don't have their own computer, or to the public library, for God's sakes, and fill out a form, and the form can be electronically evaluated and processed. We don't need all these people. It's just a waste of money. I've told Trump, and he won't listen. 30 to 40% instant cut in government costs by getting rid of all this garbage. All these stupid, lazy people who don't deserve a job to begin with. Of course, the great worry is that they'll all end up on welfare. Well, they're on welfare anyway. They don't do anything. Might as well give them a free apartment, a phone, an Obama phone, and some food stamps. Get them out of my life. I miss America. I miss America where honor and trust and a man's word meant something, were valued qualities. Don't you miss that? I mean, those of you over 45 or so, the rest probably don't even know what I'm talking about. America is being overrun with domestic enemies. And then you have these foreigners that come here from every country on the planet, but primarily from China, from the Middle East now. Oh my God, we're going to bring a couple 100,000 Syrian Muslims in here. Are they kidding me? You think it's bad at the airport now? Wait till they get here. You think you're getting harassed at the airport now by the TSA folks? Wait till they have a couple 100,000 more, radical Muslims in the country who want you dead. See how that's going to work out. I don't even want to think about the cost of that. People from third world countries coming here by the bazillion, illegally, just walking across the border with no one there to stop them. But Trump's a bad man for wanting to build a wall. I mean, can you believe you're living in a country today where the argument about having some protective wall to keep people from just invading your country at will? I mean, this is as ancient and old a commonsensical ideal as ever was. Remember the moats and the draw gates and castles and walls? Hello? There are reasons for this. I mean, we cannot sustain and continue to absorb the cost of the third world. It's just not our job. I miss America. There's some kids that came out with a video, or somebody put their kids up to putting out this filthy video about Donald Trump. I think I've cleaned up all the curse words, and if I missed any, please God forgive me, but I don't think I did. But here's the essence of it. I've cut out the curse words. This is how
my country, Republicans use offensive words.
This is how little Mexican kids think of Donald Trump.
You racist.
Cuss word there, I cut it out.
Latino kids born in the USA.
And we've got something to say.
I'm Rosa.
I'm Ricardo. My friends call me Rick. But you keep calling me Anchor Baby?
Wow, racist. When you say Mexican
Cut out some bad stuff
immigrant,
Are rapists, murderers, and drug dealers?
you know it's racist colors for words like,
Spicks, wetbags, and be nerds?
and you have attacked people.
For speaking Mexican in this nation?
It's Spanish, idiota.
Maybe a little less hairspray and more education? Millions of working Latinos would be deported.
If you get your loco way, pendejo, if you're in the White House for America, it would be nothing but
Bad hair days.
Little kids.
Trump, you may be high in the polls.
thanks to painted racist suckers, but your own thing has to come from me.
If you try to deport my abuelita, mother first. You see,
Had
the
to cut it out there.
Constitution makes me a citizen.
And you hate that because I'm brown.
And you say you're a patriot?
But you want to tear the Bill of Rights down.
I'm an American.
Born in the USA.
This is my home.
You can't take my rights away.
If you don't like our Constitution and what it stands
All
for,
right, you guys have probably seen it on television. They put these little kids up to making this commercial with this filthy language and flipping the bird. And it probably will backfire on them, I'm guessing. But I want you to just imagine for a minute if a group of Christians put little kids in a TV commercial to attack the homosexuals, for example, or to attack President Obama, or Hillary Clinton for her lying and perjury. Can you imagine what the media would do with that? Oh my God. Bias, lying, left-wing lunacy. I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to allow myself to be drawn away from the moral center, the fundamental founding principles of the American ideal. I'm not going to do it. I am not going to let these people drag me off into political correctness land. I will not abandon my Christian principles. I will not abandon God. I will not abandon my family, my children, my grandchildren. I will not sell out, buy into, or be bulldozed over by this BS. If you didn't come to this country here legally, you're illegal. Now, it's not the death penalty I'm seeking for people who break the immigration laws. I think people who say we should stand at the borders and shoot them are a little off base, okay? I get it. But you need to be sent home. And no, I don't believe in anchor babies. I don't think the 14th Amendment supports it at all. I don't think the people who come here illegally to have babies free in our hospitals and steal from us are under this jurisdiction. I think they need to be sent home. I don't think you need to rewrite anything. I think the Congress needs to stand up and say, these people are not under the jurisdiction. They're citizens of their home country, and they're out of here. I don't think you need a Supreme Court decision. I don't think you need a bunch. But, the first thing that happens is a bunch of these illegal, herd mentality loonies are going to run around gathering up bucks to hire, Daddy Big Bucks, the lawyer, to go sue the hell out of everybody and put out restraining orders and hold America hostage to appease people who don't even belong here. No, little Pedro, if your parents came here illegally, you're not an American. Go home. And if you don't like it at home, then do what Americans did and fight for your liberty back home and wherever you're from, and stand up to the corruptocrats and the scumbags there, and demand a constitutional republic and freedom like we have in America. Why should you come here and steal what so many of our founders fought and died for? A lot of us have family members who fought and died in wars to keep us free. I don't think that that you can make that claim if you come sneaking across the border. And I know they want to attack Donald Trump, and everybody wants to attack Trump. You know why I like Trump? Because everybody hates him. I know he must be the right guy. I know I keep saying that. People, I don't think that's the right logic. Well, it's the only logic I can come up with. It makes sense to me. I mean, the bankers don't like him. The Wall Street jerks don't like him. The Republican establishment doesn't like him. The Democrat establishment doesn't like him. The media doesn't really like him, although they love the ratings. Ratings. He gets ratings. Here's why. Well, I'll tell you in the nenext segment why I like Trump so much. I had a friend of mine, a conservative friend of mine, one of those guys who studied Ludwig von Mises, and he studied the Bastiat, and he studied the different economists and pre-market capitalists and all that of the world, and he was arguing with me about Trump's tax plan. And I said, no, Trump's tax plan is the most pro-American, traditional values, founding fathers friendly tax plan I've ever seen. It is truly a reflection of the values and the principles that our founders established. It's not 100% right, but it's the closest thing I've seen in my lifetime. And I'll explain that when we come back from the break, because it is just amazing how stupid people really are. I'm sorry to say. They don't understand. But I'm going to explain it to you right after this. The Roger Fredinburg Show. Stay right there, please. All right, Roger Fredinburg here. Nice to be with you. So much to talk about. So about Trump's tax plan. Trump has essentially broken his tax plan up to 4 very simple sections. I don't want to talk about the top 2 because they don't matter, because they're righteous in their implementation if done properly, but that's not what this is about. Our founders had envisioned a country where individuals were never taxed. They didn't like poll taxes so that only the rich could vote. They didn't like individual taxation. They really liked freedom and liberty. They wanted you to be able to just do what you do. Go out there and make things happen and prosper and grow your farms and all that. So if you take our current tax code in the United States of America seriously, if you truly understand how it works, if you grow a vegetable garden, you grow some tomatoes, you grow some zucchinis, some cucumbers, some lettuce, some carrots, some peppers, whatever. Technically, the difference in value between what you take out of the garden and what you would have to pay at the grocery store is a form of taxable income. They don't take into account the labor and the sweat and the toil, because you don't get to pay yourself for that. Not really, although I think you should. So what happens is, in America, we tax people on the fruits of their labor. So you go out here with a fence post hole digger, and you dig a hole and put in a fence post, and somebody gives you $25. The government says, hey, we need to have about 25% of that, or whatever, 28% of it in our coffers. And you're saying, why would you tax my labor? I just went out and worked my butt off with a shovel because I need to pay for groceries. I need to eat. Certainly I have a right to eat, right? And the government says, well, no, we're going to tax you on that. If they could, they'd tax you on your vegetable garden. It's some kind of a tax-free benefit. Don't tell them, they'll tax it. Now, the founders didn't like that. The founders didn't think that people who were working for their basic needs, food, shelter, clothing, that any of that money should be taxed. So I hear all these people saying, everybody should pay their fair share. Everybody, this Bobby Jindal, going nowhere faster than fast, but, everybody should pay their fair share. Well, that's really not right. Nobody should pay taxes on the sweat of their brow, the toil, the blood, the sweat, the labor that goes into feeding their family and raising their kids. Should be no tax on that. There should be a tax on foreign goods entering the marketplace. There should be tariffs, duties, and excise taxes exactly as our founders laid them out. And it's really difficult to communicate that to people today because the government and all the neocons and all the ultra-liberal nut jobs, they all come together in the establishment realm to want to screw you out of your hard-earned money. So when you hear someone like Donald Trump say, if a couple making $50,000 or less has to feed their kids and raise their family, they shouldn't pay any tax on that. Well, he's right. He's not wrong. He's right. You shouldn't pay tax on the basic bare minimum survival income to take care of your family. Come on. Government doesn't need to tax that. There's plenty of economy out there. Government should be taxing, as our founders outlined, they should be taxing real wealth, taxing income, taxing profits. You don't make a profit if you're working for $10 an hour or $15 an hour or $20 an hour to feed your kids. No profit there. Good God. Where's the profit? No profit. More on this when we come back. I'm Roger Fredinburg. Don't go away.
How you suffered for
It is the Roger Fredinburg Show. Nice to be with you. So I'm talking about Donald Trump's tax plan a little bit here, and I'm not going to get into all the minutia of the plan. It's a real simple plan. If you're a couple making $50,000 or less, you won't pay tax. That's the way it should be. That's the way our founders wanted it to be. Now you have all these people out there who say, tax the rich, tax the rich. Well, there is some truth to that in the sense that our founders wanted to tax profits and income and real wealth, not the toil of the sweat and toil of your brow. I mean, come on. So that's an important thing to understand about what Trump's trying to say here. Now, if you go to the American Constitutional Research Service, if you look up the spit it out, boy, the Founding Fathers Original Tax Plan, you will find there some amazing information about how our tax plan came to be and how it really was. And I'll just quote from that. James Madison, when he was discussing the first Revenue Generation Act before Congress, he identified a fundamental principle that was concerning the power that was delegated to Congress to lay and collect taxes. And he said this, and I'll quote, James Madison, "A national revenue must be obtained, but the system must be such a one that, while it secures the object of revenue, it shall not be oppressive to our constituents." Well, I suppose we could mince words here, and we could parse things out like Bill Clinton does. What the word is. Well, what does the word is mean? Whatever about is. What's the word is? What is the whatever? You know what I'm talking about. The act imposed taxes not on Congress, constituents, but on specific goods, wares, and merchandise imported into the United States. Not one dime was raised under the act by internal taxation. Internal taxes were frowned upon by the founders of this country, especially when a national revenue could be had by requiring foreigners to pay for the privilege of doing business on American soil. Now, that's what Donald Trump is saying. And people don't want to hear it. But it's what Jefferson said. It's what Madison said. It's what our founders believed in. Thomas Jefferson, in his second annual message, December 15th, 1802, he says this, and I'm quoting, "In the Department of Finance, it is with pleasure I inform you that the receipts of external duties for the last 12 months have exceeded those of any former year, and that the ratio of increase has been also greater than usual. This has enabled us to answer all the regular exigencies of government, to pay from the Treasury in 1 year upward of $8 million principal and interest of the public debt, exclusive of upward of $1 million paid by the sale of bank stock, and making in the whole a reduction of nearly $5.5 million of principal, and to have now in the Treasury $4.5 million, which are in a course of application to a further discharge of debt and current demands. In other words, external duties, tariffs, duties, excise taxes, cover the cost of government and more. Will pay off the debt. Jefferson, in his second inaugural address, March 4th, 1805, said, "At home, fellow citizens, you best know whether we have done well or ill. The suppression of unnecessary offices, of useless establishments and expenses, enabled us to discontinue our internal taxes. These covering our land with officers and opening our doors to their intrusions had already begun that process of domiciliary vexation, which once entered is scarcely to be restrained from reaching successively every article of produce and property. The remaining revenue on the consumption of foreign articles is paid cheerfully by those who can afford to add foreign luxuries to domestic comforts. Being collected on our seaboards and frontiers only, blah, blah, blah." In other words, our founders believed that you do not tax your people to death. It's immoral. You let people who want access to your marketplace pay the taxes. So let me tell you how it works in America today under the free trade policies of primarily the Republican parties, although Bill Clinton and others signed in on NAFTA, GATT, etc. And the current president, Barack Hussein Obama, with the TPP. Here's what they've turned this. Here's how they've transmogrified this, contorted it, and screwed America. Now what happens is the Chinese make products, which they manipulate their currency rate in order to keep our businesses, our manufacturers from being competitive. They ship those products into America for sale in Walmart and wherever. I mean, where can you go where you don't have Chinese products? I'm using this as a hypothetical but real example. And so now, although the American people rejoice in the Cheapy Mart goodies, they rush down to Cheapy Mart and fill their shopping carts with cheap plastic crap. And then they fill their garage with broken, cheap plastic crap and leave their $70,000 pickup out in the street to rot. This is the mentality of the Americans today. Well, the Chinese pour, and the Japanese and others pour trillions of dollars worth of products into our marketplace, and they have no tax liability. They get free trade. They just pour it in, and what happens? It's cheap, and it's cheaper, and it's cheapest. So American companies can't compete because guess what? The American company that makes the same cheapy plastic crap out in Cleveland has to pay a 35% corporate tax, has to pay income tax, has to pay out dividends, has to pay. They can't compete. So what do? They go to the Chinese princelings and they say, "Hey, we can't make this stuff in America anymore. So we'd like you guys to make it for us. And we'll give you our intellectual property to work with and our dyes and our casts and our tools and blah, blah, blah. You make our crap for us and we'll put it on the shelves at Walmart. We'll have, a few secretaries at the office taking orders and over the phone and we'll cut our, corporate expenses and cut out, 25,000 factory jobs. And we'll be able to sell it cheaper and more effectively and make more profit because we'll have it all made in China." So the American companies, they go to China. The Chinese companies make their own. Everybody's shipping stuff in from wherever, China, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Philippines, Malaysia, wherever. None of those products coming in here are contributing to the tax burden of the United States of America. So Ma and Pa Kettle, you and me, we go down to Cheapy Mart and we load up our Cheapy cart with Cheapy Mart goodies. We rush home laughing all the way. I only paid $9.99 for a brand new car, And so now the people that would have made that in America are out of work, unless they can get a job at Cheapy Mart, filling shelves with the cheap plastic crap from China, and their manufacturing plants shut down, the tool and die making industries and all the associated side industries disappear. All the good paying jobs, manufacturing jobs, go away. And now the government says, oh my God, there's nobody manufacturing and making stuff. We don't have any corporate taxes. So we're going to have to tax the people more. So they add a little tax to your cell phone. They add a little tax to your home phone. They add a little tax to your loaf of bread. They add a little tax to this and that. They pump out, massive amounts of income tax to people who actually work hard and make money. And they keep raising fees and they keep raising taxes. And no matter how much they borrow and spend, how much they spend and borrow, it's never enough. So now they've got us committed to $200 trillion in off-budget debt, closing in on $19 trillion in actual on-budget debt. Most people don't even know what $1 trillion is. I mean, it is the proverbial real-life Monopoly game. This is Obama over to the Federal Reserve. Can you get the people down at the printers to print up a few $100 billion more today for our debt? Thank you. No, we can't put it unless the Chinese will back it. Hello, Beijing. Can you loan us $350 billion more today? Cause we just can't keep up. Oh, sure. We'll keep letting you come in tax-free to our markets. Why? We might even pay you. We'll actually come up with a banking system that will pay our local companies and businesses to buy your crap. What do you think? Oh, good, yummy, yeah. And here you go. And the American people don't understand it, and they don't get it. And here Donald Trump comes out and says, no, we're going to fix that. And people said, well, my God, your tax plan won't cover the costs of government, Donald. And while Donald is too smart to say, of course it won't. We don't want it to. We want government to downsize. We want government to be smaller. Hello? We want government to disappear, go away. We want government to go back to the founding principles. We want to go back to tariffs, excise taxes, and duties and get you off the back of hardworking people. We want to bring our factories home. Get rid of this phony, fake free trade and put in fair, real fair and free trade. If we're not free to go to their market, they shouldn't be free to come to our market. Hello? Get a clue, people. I'm Roger Fredinburg. I'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Roger Fredinburg here. Nice to be with you. Radio Roger at AOL.com, at Radio Roger on Twitter, Radio Roger at AOL.com. Oh, and Roger Fredinburg on Facebook. I'm a lot of fun at Facebook. You might get scared, man, if you come watch around or look around what I'm doing on Facebook. I use Facebook to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Communicate. So I can't get to everything. 2 hours a week. I don't know. It's just not enough time. But I just wanted to make it clear to people that the Trump tax plan is about forcing government to get real, downsize, cut their costs and expenses, and to look for ways to kind of fund government without screwing the American people. And taxes are something that should not be internal, as our founders really, really believed. And Trump, I think, believes the same thing. He just has to get there. It takes a while to get people there. And so I'm watching and I'm learning and I'm listening and I'm paying attention. And I understand that people don't get it. But you need to educate yourself. You need to get this. Because this is the most dangerous time in American history. Close to 100 million people are not even looking for jobs. Somebody has to feed them. The baby boom generation is heading headlong into retirement age. And Social Security is not going to be able to cut it. There's no way with two people working for every one Social Security recipient that this country is going to survive. It's up to us and these immoral people who saddle our children and our grandchildren with, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. That's immoral at a level that I think deserves capital punishment, honest to God. Who would do that to future generations? I said to people the other day on Facebook, someday your children are going to come to you and ask you to kill yourself. They're going to come to you and say, please euthanize. I mean, we're talking Logan's Run here, okay? Soylent Green on steroids. If you don't know what that is, you're listening to the wrong show. I'm telling you now that the children and grandchildren out there today, they're going to come to their parents and grandparents and say, please off yourself. I can't afford you. And it's going to be your fault. Because today you sat on your butt and you bought into the BS and the lies and the corporate and the government bureaucrat baloney, and you didn't stand up and demand a change. We have to go back to what our founders designed. The people who are bringing products into this country must pay their fair share. As a matter of fact, they should carry the whole load. We give them access to the greatest consumer marketplace in the world. That should be worth something to them. The American people should not be subsidizing Chinese nationalist companies out of communist Beijing, China. The American people should not be subsidizing products from every country around the world. The Japanese, the Malaysians, the Taiwanese, the Indonesians, the Pakistanis, the Brazilians, the South and Central Americans, whatever. It's time for the rest of the world, if they want to access this marketplace, it's time for them to pay their fair share and give the American people a break. And that's what Donald Trump's about. And I'm sorry and I'm sad and I feel bad that people don't understand and they don't get it. And that they're too lazy to sit down and study and think it through. But what I'm telling you here is real. It's real. And it means you're going to have to, if you want to have a country that's truly free, and you want to make America great again, as Trump keeps saying, it resonates with me, then I encourage you, I implore you, I beg you, take a closer look at what he's saying and compare it to what the founding fathers were saying. I think you're going to find that he is totally and completely right on. That's what I think. I think you're going to find that you're in agreement with him. God bless you all until next week, huh? Be well, stay out of trouble, stay out of jail. You know the rule.